The Achimota Forest lies in the heart of the capital, Accra. The area is set aside and preserved by the government as a forest reserve. It has a lot of plant species, ornamental and medicinal in there. The forest recently housed the Accra Zoo. It has a variety of animals ranging from lions, different breeds of monkeys, tortoises, ostrich and snakes. It is a place for tourists. A visit to the reserve allows people to experience and to understand how forest ecosystems function. The forest, which according to environmentalists is the only green belt in the capital, provides individuals with opportunity for recreation and engaging in outdoor sports close to urban areas. It also assists nature conservation by defending habitats and wildlife corridors. Ghanaians are afraid that they may lose all these benefits with the coming into force of the Executive Instrument 144, which reclassifies the Achimota Forest. This paves way for the government to return 361 acres of what it terms as peripherals of the forest to the custodial owners. The government has come under criticism over the executive instrument signed by President Akufo-Addo. The Deputy Lands Minister and the Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission have been reassuring that the integrity of the forest reserve would be intact.
We want you to see that our famous Achimota Forest, as we know it, with this forest, is intact. Also, the government, our ministry, and our agency, the Forestry Commission, has within the past 4 years been undertaking, I would say, an aggressive reforestation of this particular forest. We have also brought in the animals from the Accra Zoo previously, when it used to be at the Jubilee House grounds. We brought them here so that they also form part of the biodiversity and the ecosystem over here. You can tell, as we brought them here, some of them are, they are being bred and they are giving birth. The environment is cool, is good for them. Please, coming soon in June, on June 10th, we intend to carry on with the tree planting exercise that we've been doing here. What we planted are all here, they are growing. You saw them as we walked past. The current ones too, we are going to plant. We will nurture them for them to grow. So please, we want Ghanaians to understand that the Achimota Forest has not been sold and is intact, and we are even making more efforts to make sure that it becomes the forest that we know.
Nobody can enter. I think that should be made clear. The leases that were given to the family earlier, anytime they come to the commission, I'm the chief executive, we don't allow them to enter because it is still a forest. The process has not ended because once it remains a gazetted forest, I would not allow anybody to enter. This is part of the process being handled by the ministry. So once we go through this stage, then we are being informed. Then the steps will be taken. And then if it's degazetted, then it's no longer a forest. So then they can enter. But as at now, if it's gazetted, I will not allow them to enter the forest. We're trying to get this zoo in good shape. So that people can come here. We have a lot of students coming here. People come here for entertainment. Some come here for research. And a lot of school children come here, at least to see lions and other animals that we have here. The tour guide is here. He will take us through, and we'll see the other animals we have here, aside the lions that we have seen on the other side of the zoo.
Come to Accra Zoo once again. This whole area happens to be a breeding center for endangered species. By endangered, these animals have reduced in number all around the world. They are actually indigenous to two main places in the country, in the world, Côte d'Ivoire and then Ghana. You find them exactly around the Pra River and the Sassanda River in Côte d'Ivoire. As we move on, you get to realize that our aim is not to keep these animals in a prison-like structure or in cages forever. but to breed them and then introduce them back into the wild again. So that's the whole reason behind this breeding center. So we'll keep moving.
Many, including environmental CSOs, have suggested that the government could have paid compensation to the family in question because giving away a portion of Achimota Forest Reserve will open up the discussions for other reserves. Could the government have taken that route?
We are all concerned in terms of environmental issues. But then, as much as possible, we must also make sure that we also be concerned about the pre-acquisition owners, especially when all previous governments have also accepted that they had a legitimate request. How much is an acre of land in Achimota now? I don't know it offhand, but I can imagine that would be very huge. So it is not only cash alone. Sometimes when government cannot afford at that moment or currently to be able to pay in cash, some portions of the land is granted back to the pre-acquisition owners in lieu of compensation. This has happened even in Accra here on several occasions from all preceding governments, all previous governments.
The Achimota Forest has a total land size of 360 hectares. The area marked with yellow edges is the portion to be handed back to the family. If you know the Achimota Forest very well, you know that the southern part of the forest is along the N1. So the ministry says portions of the forest which will be given to the old family is from the Abofu section to the Dimples roundabout, the roundabout that will take you into the Achimota Forest. So the southern section, which has already been encroached on, that is part of the site that is going to be given to the old family. Is this site A, B, or C, or D?
Oh, you look at it. You look at
This is the peripheral.
That's the periphery. See, it is quite detached. And the commander one is on that side.
Is this site A, B, C, or D?
All composed. What we are showing you, you said you wanted to know where the periphery is. And we've come here and shown you this is the periphery.
So you see, this part is quite detached from the main forest on the other side. So these are some of the areas we are referring as peripheral, instead of giving maybe the main part of the forest.
From the N1.
So does it go to
this N1?
Achimota new station? Does it?
No. That's what I want to show you. We'll get to. There's an office here, our Greater Accra Regional Office. So it gets from here to the Greater Accra Regional Office. So you can. That's what I'm saying. That this is the N1 road, highway. This is the the police station road. And then if you should drive a little bit where we go to, the Greater Accra Regional offices are there. So this one has been just left a bit separate from the main. This one, you don't go to the place where close to above where you have the those caterpillars. You know, we are driving there.
Benito Ousubio responded to calls for the reversal of the reclassification of the Achimota Forest Reserve by a section of the public.
What? Yeah, they've been over the years. Definitely they would have been, because and then even the N1 road goes through the forest.
Part of the forest.
Yeah, the N1 goes through the forest.
So then it is reasonable for us to give off this part to the old family.
The EI, you've seen the EI?
Yes.
Yes, and there have been reasons why it has been given. The minister has spoken at length to this.
They were there when their government granted leases to the family. Those leases, have they been able to assess them? If you read today's statement by the family, they say it clearly. They have never been able to have access to them, although they've been granted leases. And that is the question. What the government has done now is to do the right thing for them. They already have leases, but they cannot have access to it. So are we lying to them? Let's be truthful and do the right thing. What this government has done is to do the legitimate thing, the right thing, and also to publish it. That is why we are all talking. Previously, when those leases were granted out, did you know? Were you aware? So when we do the right thing by being transparent as a government, we must be applauded for that.
The government has assured that the Achimota Forest, especially the zoo, will be intact. But there are more questions for government to answer to reassure Ghanaians that this forest reserve will be intact. I am Kojo Achman reporting for City News.